Russia's President Vladimir Putin and India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will meet shortly on the sidelines of an 8-nation summit in Uzbekistan formed to counter US influence in Asia. Deutsche Well correspondent Lars Halter joins me now from Berlin. Lars, energy is set to be high on the agenda.
Yes, it absolutely is, because Putin needs to open new markets. He lost the Western countries who have always bought billions worth of natural gas, and that's all gone now due to the war in Ukraine, of course. And now for Russia, the two biggest emerging markets are China and India, of course. Now, let me first tell you about China, maybe because there was that meeting already yesterday between Russia and China, Putin and Xi Jinping. China is already and has always been Russia's biggest trading partner outside the Western bloc. They've always been contributing about 20% of Russia's trade, but it has recently grown a lot. Since the war started, China's imports from Russia have grown 17% on oil, 39% on electricity, and 50% on natural gas. So that is one big market change here happening. And now when we're looking at India and Narendra Modi's job today when he's meeting with Vladimir Putin is a little more tricky. India is, of course, a major market, and India is probably interested in buying more Russian energy, as it's currently also pretty cheap compared to the world market. But India has to really avoid being too close to Russia and to China, because those two countries, of course, are the West's biggest adversaries. And India, of course, needs its Western ties just as much as its ties to Russia and China. So for Modi, it will really be a tricky balance to keep today.
Lars, the European Union is looking to help ease the energy crisis gripping the continent.
Yes, and it's the right thing, of course, for the European Union to step in here, because much of the markets here, energy, electricity, that's all EU regulated anyway. So really everyone has to be on board here in time of crisis. So what are they proposing? What came out this week? Most of all, a much discussed windfall profit tax. Now, that is an extra tax on companies that are making hefty profits right now, just thanks to high energy prices. Now, here's the details on that. Energy regulation says that all electricity can be sold at a price determined by the producer with the highest cost. That is, of course, meant to put all providers on a level playing field. But what does it really mean? Right now, all utility companies can sell electricity based on the economics of those who produce power using natural gas, because that has become a lot more expensive and it's sold at a higher price. But those companies that are making power using, let's say, solar or wind or even coal, they have not had any higher cost at all. So these companies are making a lot of extra money for reasons that are completely out of their control. And the EU says if they're taxing this with that so-called windfall profit tax, this can bring in 140 billion euros. And that, of course, can be spread around.
Lars Halter reporting from Berlin.